G'day, Bomber fans. Well, this is the one. This is the one we're all scared of. I was watching Geelong and Port Adelaide on Sunday, and it's given me nightmares. I am not excited for this game. You should be excited to watch Friday night footy. I am not. I am dreading it. This could be an unenjoyable Friday night experience. That's my hot take. I think the Cats might win this game. Let's talk about this match, but first the votes from the Sydney game. Alrighty, similar votes. Sam Durham was our best. That is the second week in a row, I believe he was our best. He's playing some good footy. Andy McGrath back in the votes, and it's probably the first time he's gotten votes from the midfield, at least on this channel. Archie Roberts gets some love as well, and Laverty and Blackiston split the role player. The overall tally, Sam Durham leaps into second behind Merritt, who is pretty comfortable up there. Nick Martin is in third. He's injured, so he can only fall. Dersmer's fourth, Caldwell fifth, and then you've got a logjam. Both Roberts and McGrath move up the order, and then you've got the three tools below them. Keep up the votes. In an ideal world, by the way, all we're talking about in this video is the votes, but we do have to talk about this game. Okay, Friday night footy. It is fourth bottom up against fourth top. I'll let you guys guess which team is which. Geelong have a percentage of 138, we've got a percentage of 72, so there is a bit of a gap between these two sides. And by the way, I saw a fact the other day which kind of shows you the state of the game right now. So in the last 35 matches where a top 9 team has played a bottom 9 team, the team in the top half, the top 9 team, has won 34. So that is 35 matches between top 9 and bottom 9, only once there's been an upset. So that shows you... That's 2025. You know, there's a massive gap between the top and the bottom. Yeah, it's predictable. The Cats lately, they've been absolutely smashing bad teams. They're fresh off an 88-point win over Port Adelaide. Before that, they beat the Roos by over 100. Richmond by 72 a few weeks earlier. And of course, the last time they played us, they were 5 points off, putting us on the triple-figure train. That is definitely possible again this week. And for the Bombers, we were good against the Swans, but before that, it was 93-point loss against the Dogs, and that was the third loss for over 90 points for the year. So the odds for this game, they are $21 for the Bombers to win. That is, I think that might be the biggest odds all year. Correct me if I'm wrong, but we're beyond underdogs for this game. I think even the most optimistic fan wouldn't be giving us much of a chance. If we're fully fit, I think the Cats probably beat us with ease. We're not fully fit. We're playing rucks and forwards in the back line. We've got 16 players on the injury list. Debutants are going to be playing on premiership players. It is brutal. I think as impressive as we were for lots of last week against the Swans, I think we could easily see something pretty horrific on Friday. I really wouldn't be surprised if things do get out of hand. Realistically, they beat us, like I said, they beat us with ease if we're fully fit, and we are not fully fit. If you take away 16 players from any club, they're going to struggle. Take away 16 players from a bad club, they're going to struggle even more. So, not going to be a fun night, but how do the Bombers get something out of this game? Well, it's important to look at our opponents. They're a very good team, all across the board. So for starters, they are high scoring. Our 6 highest goal scorers that are available to play on the weekend have a combined 76 goals between them. That is just one more than Jeremy Cameron, who on his own has 75. And just on that, in our last 3 rounds, Essendon as a team have kicked 21 goals. Jeremy Cameron himself has kicked 22. And you guys know that I'm just painting a picture here. I'm not saying Jeremy Cameron on his own beats the Bombers. The issue isn't just our forward line, and you know, Jeremy Cameron isn't just Geelong, but it's good to a good picture to paint to just show how potent the Cats are up forward, because they've got Tyson Stengel, Dangerfield who's not playing, Shannon Neal. They've got weapons, and not even just in the forward line, but you go, you know, Tom Stewart, legend of the club, I reckon. Max Holmes and Bailey Smith killed us last time we played them. It's probably going to be the same again. And just on our last game against the Cats, we almost lost that by 100 points. In that game, we had Nate Caddy, Nick Martin, Jai Caldwell, Darcy Parish, Will Setterfield, and more. Those guys are gone, and now we're at Geelong, real home ground. The gap between these two teams has never been larger. I think even you could argue 2016, the gap was similar to this. And of course, you know, I checked the weather radar. I'm hoping for rain. There is a 10% chance of rain at the time of filming on Friday night. Just give us something. Give us a storm. I will happily take a sloppy, wet weather game of footy if it means the Cats aren't beating us by 30 goals. But it does seem like it's going to be a pretty dry night. So yeah, Geelong's possible team on screen right now. We're going to look at some potential matchups to kind of see I don't know what could happen. So Jeremy Cameron is probably the player to watch, but just not for the game, but for the round. He is closing in on 100 goals. He's playing some pretty bad teams to get there. He's going to be playing on Jaden Laverty. I'd say Shannon Neal gets Lockie Blackiston. Tyson Stengel probably gets Jaden Newen. So you've got some very inexperienced or I guess players not of the quality, playing on some pretty good forwards. I suspect Andy McGrath is still in the midfield because we don't have numbers there. I wouldn't be surprised if he is trying to hold Bailey Smith accountable. If it probably doesn't happen. If not Smith, Holmes probably gets off the leash as well. I really doubt Merritt Durham and, I don't know, Jade Gresham get too much going in there. Goldie gets a break from the elite rucks, but Stanley could still do some damage. And then you've got Loal on a wing trying to hold width while the runners push through. Those tall defenders get to go up against a forward line that will likely have 3 mid-season draftees in it. Yeah, it's so what do these guys need to do to keep this game, not on our terms, but I guess to keep this game in a zone where we're not getting completely embarrassed while also building for the future? Because we could easily park the bus and make the scoreboard look better, but Brad Scott has shown that he isn't willing to do that, which I respect. I like that. I think he's clearly focused on drilling ideas into these kids instead of protecting results in a season that doesn't need them. It's really, unfortunately, in a lot of ways, it's a big learning day for some of these kids. So if Loal plays, this is going to be a brutal experience that he'll hopefully learn from going forward. There'll be countless times where he gets found out in wrong positions and exploited. Same with Newen. Stengel's going to burn him a few times. It's about learning from those moments. And I've talked about a lot about the controllables and the uncontrollables this year. This game, it's probably the biggest one in terms of the sheer amount of things we just cannot control as a team. I think we're going to see broken tackles on skinny kids that break lines. We'll see rapid ball movement that however many debutants we have will just get lost in. There'll be plays that we have that break down because of a lack of synergy between players who have only met, a couple of months ago. So the big question, which I don't really know how to answer in a game like this, is how do these kids take something out of a game like this and make it as close as they can at the same time? And unfortunately, as far as system and structure goes, there just isn't really a lot you can do. There's not many ways you can win this game if Geelong are at their best, which they probably will be. I know people are going to say, play man-on-man footy, man up, but that's only going to exploit the skinny and raw kids that we have even more. It really is just about sticking with what we're doing. In a weird way, playing a team this good, there isn't a lot that you should really be changing to the core, the core of your game. And I guess, you got to hope that there's no Richmond-type breakdown, because if we played like we did against the Swans, we still get smashed, but there are positives. If we play like we did against the Tigers, I could see it being a record margin or something. So really, we just have to hope that the boys are on and ready for the contest. Either way, I'm gonna say it probably won't be a close game. I'm not being dramatic. I'm being realistic. It probably won't be a close game of footy. There is a massive skill and quality differential between these two teams. But if we can keep trying to take the game on, build some highlights, build some synergy, some connection, take it to the Cats, then we might see some chains and periods when we're on top. And that is almost enough for me. So how big is this margin going to be? And how do we bring it down our way a bit? The first thing I think of is triple figures. I think that is entirely possible. We've avoided it 3 times this year, only just. Port almost went down the triple figure road, and they're a much better team than us right now. I think for this game to be not close, but closer than embarrassing, the Bombers obviously just have to take their chances. That has hurt us a bit lately. We really weren't far off the Giants, but we were wasteful. Missed a few chances against the Swans. If we want to be not completely humiliated on the scoreboard, we will need to be really effective inside 50, overly effective inside 50. I doubt the ball is down there that much, so when it is, we got to be good with it. We got to be really competitive at the contest to get it down there. Smaller ground GMHBA, it's really easy to get exploited by bigger bodies in the contest. Everything's brought in a bit, so we'd have to be stronger than what we are. I know that's hard when you've got however many debutants and kids in the team, but we do just have to be a bit bigger and better than usual if we want to make this game closer than it should be. And the big one, I guess, we just got to have to hope that the Cats aren't on. I think they will almost definitely be trying to find Jeremy Cameron. They want him to get to that 100 mark. Something interesting I saw the other day was Matt Lloyd talking about coaches trying to get players to the milestones before big games and big finals to avoid it being a distraction when it matters. So in an ideal world, the Cats would honestly rather take a 20 or 30 point win if it meant that Jeremy Cameron kicked 10 goals. They've got the percentage anyway. First thing, they want to win. And then after that, it's probably just about getting the ball in Jez's hands to try and tick off that milestone before, it comes in a final when they need goals and not Jeremy Cameron goals. He's not going to have many chances against lesser defenders like he does this week, where he needs 25 goals to get there. He could have, he could almost halve that on Friday night if all things go according to plan for the Cats. So hopefully they're distracted and trying to find him the footy, making mistakes while doing so. Either way, it's a massive night for Laverty. He's going to have his work cut out for him. But yeah, the Bombers, it's about managing that big quality differential, which is really hard. And I think just getting the little wins, whether it's winning a quarter or maybe a bit unrealistic, maybe winning a period of a quarter, winning certain matchups, certain one-on-ones. There are 100% going to be positives to take out of a game. There always are, no matter what. It's just about each individual kind of finding a way to do more good than bad so those positives can go through to a team-wide benefit. So, yeah, really rough. Let's talk about the potential teams before we get on to the prediction. Team news for the Cats. It looks like Dangerfield will be given a week off, which helps. I'd suspect Jack Martin comes straight into the lineup from the sub role. He was really exciting against Port Adelaide. Maybe Mitch Duncan comes in to replace him as the sub. I really can't predict too much from there because they probably will rest other players. As for the Bombers, lots of injuries, not a lot of changes we can really make. Unwin and Jurine are probably not quite ready for a game like this. I personally hope Sardell Hawley returns for Lamanlawal. I think Lamanlawal's had a few consecutive games and probably needs a bit of a rest. Aside from that, I don't think we do too much to a team that's already had its best game in quite a few weeks. But yeah, that tally of injured or unavailable players on the right is growing. Carl Langford may return this year. He might play VFL footy this weekend, but he's not going to play AFL footy. And Nate Caddy, he's not technically injured. He is sore, but there is a chance he is just put on ice for the remainder of 2025, which, look, it might sting, but it's probably the best thing for the long term. He's not going to be playing this week either way. He's not confirmed to be out for the year yet, but I doubt we rush him back. He is a sore boy. Okay, prediction and big shock. I am tipping the Cats, and I'm tipping them by a lot. I just think this Geelong team is far too good for us right now. Really, most teams are, but Geelong, we saw what they did to the Bombers last time. They carved us up through the middle. They killed us in the contest. They killed us everywhere. I cannot see this being a fun game to watch. I'm tipping the Cats by 85 points. Let's see though, maybe I'm being too negative, maybe I'm being too positive, I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. I think we've got a one-sided contest on our hands, but that is that. Stay tuned to the channel, Bomber fans. Plenty more to come. Some trade news out, hopefully tomorrow. Some more draft content out soon as well. AFLW starting soon, so I'll have a preview for the season and weekly videos. Hopefully they do a bit better than the boys have this year, but that is all. Cheers for watching. Like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and go Bombers.